morning, everybody. My name is George.
My name is Antonis, and welcome to Digital Kitsune,
The show that aspires to become a global digital hub for digital marketeers that want to learn about best practices, great failures and successes, innovative tools from top marketing minds around the globe. And of course, Kitsune means fox. It's a really well-known figure in Japanese folklore, and Kitsune of course means fox in Japanese. And we find it to be the best cute small animal, sorry,
mascot.
for our little show. So today we have our first guest to start this episode. So Antonis, can you have the honor to present our first guest for our audience?
As George mentioned, we are super excited to welcome to our show Yorgos Chasiotis. In my humble opinion, he is one of the best content marketers out there. And I would like to give you a warm welcome to our show, George. Welcome. It's our pleasure having you here.
Hey guys, thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
George, Yorgos Chasiotis, is a marketing consultant who drives organic growth for tech and SaaS companies by content and SEO. George runs a strategy and consultation agency. Is based in Thessaloniki, Greece.
Best city on earth.
Yeah, you could say that.
In his free time, he reads about psychology and tries to understand why behind human behavior. So, George, welcome again. It's our pleasure having you here, and now the stage is yours.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you for the invitation, and all the best for your new show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, George, how did you get into marketing? What was your motivation to join the industry?
Yeah, I got into marketing a few years ago. I started small, like all people. This doesn't mean that I'm big now. I'm still small, but I'm getting bigger. So I started handing jobs on a freelance website, Upwork. Not sure if you're familiar. By the way, nowadays Upwork is one of I think it's the best source for us for freelancers. So I guess that things have changed a bit. And so I started, hunting small projects, mainly, regarding social media and social media consultation and all this kind of stuff. Then I experimented a bit with advertising, Facebook advertising in particular. And what I enjoy most, I realized that Facebook ads and social media is not really my thing. And to be completely honest with you, I wasn't so good at it. So I realized at the same time that what I really like to do and what my clients find it like the best, where my clients find it the best value in what we do, in what I did, was content. And so I tried to focus on that a bit and try to evolve it, let's say. And I left all other, let's say, services that I provided and started focusing on content. After a while, I kind of stopped, handing jobs on Upwork and started getting some inbound leads from LinkedIn and Facebook through the content I was publishing. And I think that one thing led to another. And I went from the point of, just being a freelancer who experiments with things and, tries to sort out, someone who offers a very specific service for a very specific type of companies, tech companies and SaaS companies in particular, and things are going pretty well.
Why specifically SaaS companies? Why specifically technical companies in general?
Yeah, that's a good question, because you see, with SaaS companies and tech companies, the percentage of companies failing is very high. So
Okay.
for you as a marketer, as a freelance consultant, as an agency, you might want to stay away from this. Yeah. But I mean, for me, it's really appealing. I really like it, and I really like the process of getting someone and transforming that someone from being just a first-time visitor to become like a super user, a power user of a SaaS company, of a tech company, and so I would say that it's really appealing. I really like it, even though I know for a fact that most of the SaaS companies out there and tech companies are, statistically, they're going to die eventually, or
Yes.
they are not going to meet the expectations of their founders and their, VC firms. However, I find it very appealing, and this is why, we focus on serving that specific market.
You like the challenge.
Yeah, I would say that it's kind of a challenge thing. I really find products that live on the cloud very, very appealing, and I really like the idea of contributing, to the process of building an audience and turning some of that audience to users. So yeah.
Okay.
And could you please tell us now about your agency?
Yeah, sure. First of all, so I would say that up until now, it wasn't exactly an agency. Now, as you already know, Adonis, we are going to launch a brand new agency, I guess by the end of the year. And we are going to focus on serving solely tech and SaaS companies. And we are going to help them with their content and SEO efforts. We have a very specific way of doing things. This means that we have a framework we are stepping on, and our clients are mostly from English-speaking countries or from other countries that target English-speaking countries, which makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about it, and I really want to bring talented people on board because it's something that I really believe in. I believe that the SaaS industry and the SaaS market in general will explode in the following years. So I want to be a part and contribute in all that, you can call it wave. Yeah, but I would like to be on the wave as when that happens.
Best of luck.
And,
Best of luck when you ride the wave for the new decade.
Yeah, thank you.
All
and
right, great. I think it's time to go on to specific marketing questions. So probably I would like to ask as a content marketer myself, what are your main strategies and processes that are you using in your agency right now?
Yeah. Um, uh, as I mentioned before, working with SaaS companies is very challenging, but for me, it's very exciting as well. The same applies with their content strategy and their SEO strategy. We have a very specific process of doing things. Having said that, we have a 6-stage framework we are following for all our clients. This includes the following 6 stages. First, we have the stage of understanding. We're trying to understand what the client has done so far, what worked, what didn't work, how is the market, what is the competition doing, and so on. Then we have the stage of planning. We essentially create the strategy based on the things that we've understood. Then we start optimizing things. For example, we update content that already gets visibility, and we give it an extra boost by optimizing it. Okay. Then we have the stage of creating. We start creating new content, new assets for the client. Then we are essentially amplifying that through content, through effective distribution, content distribution, link building, etc. And the final stage is a stage of measurement. We measure what's the effectiveness of all the things that we've done. Okay, so for me, the strategy is, of course, in the second stage, the stage of planning. But it's everything is connected. You cannot talk about designing a strategy without having your tracking and analytics to measure the effectiveness of the things that you do. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, but everything starts with the stage of understanding. We're trying to understand, and then we can create the strategy that helps our clients move forward.
You talk about measuring stuff, and I'm all about measure. Like in digital marketing, everything should be measurable. What are your main KPIs in your content marketing strategies that are you using to measure if something was successful or not?
That's a good question. And a couple of weeks ago, I published a guest post on G2 exactly about that, content marketing ROI. Us as an agency, we are judged against revenue generated from organic traffic. Okay. You could say that this is our main KPI. You can break that into two, let's say, sub metrics. Of course, the first one is to increase the traffic. Yeah, you cannot increase revenue from organic traffic if you can't increase the traffic or the quality of the traffic. In some cases, there are cases where a website gets a lot of traffic, but they are not able to monetize it. And the second sub metric you could use is the user experience. Okay, because yes, you could bring in new people and you could generate awareness about a product or the solutions that the product offers. But if the experience on the website is not solid, then you will not be able to monetize. So we are judged against revenue generated from organic traffic, but most of the times we break that down to organic traffic as an independent metric, which is of course very important. And user experience. And to measure user experience, you can use different tools, for example, Hotjar, and ask questions about super important pieces on your website that gets a lot of traffic, and try to identify whether or not the question that brought the user on the website was answered through that content piece. And there are other tools as well. SEMrush has a very good way of measuring, the user experience with the WOS score. And so we are trying to break down, of course, the main metric, as I said, to sub metrics that are important to our clients and that are important to us. And yeah, this is pretty much it.
Okay. And you answered. I had a question. You answered it about how to measure user experience. Sorry. But I have another follow-up question. What kind of formats in content do you think works well for SaaS companies in general in your field?
I'll tell you. I see that nowadays we are working a lot with like top of the funnel content, which is usually when the user haven't identified yet what is the solution to their problem. They just have a problem, and they want to identify that problem. They want to give it a name per se. Okay, and so we are creating top of the funnel content, and great top of the funnel content can be, for example, a guide on how to do something, how to perform a certain task, but also which is not so much top of the funnel, but I could say middle of the funnel, when people are more like considering options. We see work very well for us the list posts, like list posts where you essentially let's say that you have a software that creates online courses, okay? And you want to, and you know for a fact that people are looking for the best software for online courses, yeah? So a logical step here would be to create a content piece around that topic, okay, and give the answer to people using searching for it. So you can create a content piece around it, of course include yourself, but, and here is the tricky part, and the part that most people are missing out, the content piece has to be as unbiased as possible, because if you create such a list post and you include yourself and say the best things about yourself and the worst things about your competitors, this is one, unethical, and it shows users and visitors that this is a biased opinion. You cannot trust it per se. Yeah, so I would say that we're working mostly with top of the funnel content, and then bottom of the funnel content is great. For example, in some cases we are creating VS pages which is obviously a bottom of the funnel content. You see the intent there. When someone is comparing options, they are probably know what is the problem. They probably identify the solution, and they are now comparing solutions. So we create such content as well. But once again, we are trying to make it as unbiased as possible. Okay, because I mean, we want the visitor to understand that, okay, yeah, we may be one of the solutions, but we will tell you both the good and the bad from our competition and from ourselves as well. So I would say that we see the whole spectrum, we see the whole funnel, we see what content is missing from our clients, and you'd be surprised how many opportunities I see, clients we are working with, and I see how many opportunities they are missing out just because nobody told them that, look, there are people looking for these things, and if you write something about it, something good about it, if you create a valuable content piece, you will get value out of it. And so we are there, like, just to connect the dots, to tell them that these are the things that you need to write about. Either this is a list post, or just a question, or a comparison guide, or a VS guide, and so on. Yeah.
So George, how to optimize your content for featured snippets in Google? Could you please share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a good question. In the past, we've managed to get content for clients with really low authority websites on the featured snippets, only by providing valuable content. But also, we've managed to do it for websites with really high authority. This means that, as I see it, I may be wrong, but there isn't a correlation between the authority of the website and whether or not this website or content page on a website can be featured as a featured snippet and on the SERPs. Okay, but if we think about it, featured snippets are all about giving short, quick answers to the users, people who are using the search engines, Google, for example. And so I would say that if you manage to present a solution or an answer to a question someone has in a very quick and short way, this increases your chances of getting a featured snippet on the SERPs. I would say that it's more of a of an optimization, on-page optimization thing, plus, of course, bringing real value, rather than doing hacks or anything. I think that if you give quick, short answers to questions, and of course you have to see how the featured snippets for a particular search query look like, and you have to create something similar or better. I think that you have chances of getting a featured snippet. I would say it's a combination of smart content and valuable content.
Whatever.
Nice.
I totally agree with that.
Wait.
Okay. What kind of lead magnets are you using for your clients?
Okay. Honestly, I'm not. I think I'm not the best one to answer this question, because I'm kind of against lead magnets and forms in general. But I think that, and I always advise that, because sometimes we have content that gets, a lot of traction organically, let's say, and the call to actions or the lead magnets, to answer your question, are totally relevant. You may have come up there to see, to get information about a particular topic, and you get, a totally relevant lead magnet, which doesn't make sense. I mean, the person who came there wants to find information about something completely different. Okay, so I would say that regardless of what the lead magnet will be, it has to be absolutely relevant to the content piece. And in my opinion, it's better to have less lead magnets on your website, okay, but highly relevant, only for your top performers, top performing content pages, rather than have 100 ebooks that are placed in totally relevant places on the website.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So I have another question about content marketing. Probably like you watch the industry in general, and of course in SaaS companies. Do you remember any specific marketing strategy that worked really well in 2019?
I would say that, I always try to take examples and see what other people do that work or might not work. I like how, even though this is not a SaaS company per se, you could say that it's a tech company, but still, I like how G2 does things. They've managed to grow their traffic. I think they've passed 1 million users per month, and I like how they structure things, and how they write content, and how they let's say handle all the guest posting process, because they accept too many guest posts nowadays, and they publish too much content. And I mean, for me, it's one of the case studies that we all have to take a look at and try to understand how they managed to increase their traffic, and get it to 1 million visitors per month in such a short time frame. But
Okay.
I mean, in reality, if you take a look behind the curtains, you will understand that it's all about content and bringing value. The more value you can bring, the more users will visit your website, and the more your audience will grow. And after a certain point, it's like kind of a snowball effect. Okay, you've reached a certain point, and then it will grow. Let's say naturally after that. I think that the only strategy, and as you already know, guys, I don't believe in like growth hacks and all this kind of stuff. I believe only in process. The only strategy is really to try to identify what people need, and what people want from you, and what people want to hear from you, and just give it to them in any kind of format, in any kind of it can be webinar, it can be like a case study, it could be a list post, as I said earlier, it could be anything. You just have to find out and serve it in the best possible way.
Okay, great. I think that's all about what I have to ask about content. I'm content satisfied, I can say. So let me ask you a question about our viewers. Probably some of them want to get inside digital marketing in 2020 for the new decade. So do you have any tips for the new generation of marketeers, of digital marketeers that are about to come?
Yeah, I would say that I have one or two. The first
Okay.
one is to not pay attention to what other people do. Do not try to compare yourself to a marketer who runs a $1 million agency in the US, especially if you are born and raised in a country like Greece or in Europe in general. Don't try to compare yourself to anyone because the background is different, the story is different. You just have to create your own path, okay? And it's very dangerous, let's say, that nowadays we have access to information. You can see basically what others are doing in the US, for example, which is a great example of growth and hyper growth and all this kind of stuff. But if you start comparing and you get in that loop, it's very dangerous because you will always feel like a failure. I mean, why don't I grow 10 times faster than I do now? This is not the case. Just pay attention to what you do and how you will be able to succeed. The second tip is not be a generalist. Focus on find one thing that you're good at, that you enjoy, and that you think that for a fact that your clients get the most value out of, and focus your efforts on that. Okay, double down on that. Yes, you may have to spend some time until you find that, but once you find it, you have to invest in that. And the third tip I have, which works really well for me, honestly, marketing is an amazing field. It is evolving like every day, and I find that the process is having a process of doing things is like the most important thing, especially if you are, for example, a freelance consultant, or if you're running an agency and you want to scale that agency. You need to set up processes, and you need to do that because I often realize that when I have one of my best selling points, let's say, to new clients, is the process that we have. And I see that they feel so more comfortable knowing that, okay, the company that we are going to deal with has a very specific and is very transparent about the way they are doing things. They feel more comfortable and they are able to trust you more easily. So I would say, specialize on something, build a great process around it. I think this is very critical as well.
Okay, nice.
I totally agree with that. It's great to find your own niche, as George mentioned, and then to evolve yourself in this.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crucial. In my opinion, this is crucial for every marketer out there nowadays. I have our last question for you, George.
Sure.
What is your call to action for our viewers? Where would you like to send them after this show?
Yeah, sure. So you can always find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. The name is a bit difficult to spell, but it's GEORGIOS CHASIOTIS, both on LinkedIn and on Facebook. I regularly, publish content, and some guest posts I publish on some very well-known publications. So feel free to check it out. And as I mentioned, our new agency will be our new agency website will be ready by the end of the year. It will be Minutia with t.com. Feel free to check it out. In a couple of months from now, I think we will be ready. And and we are very excited about it, and we plan to publish really good content for our audience.
Okay, nice.
Thank you so much for sharing these valuable tips with us and our viewers as well. It was our pleasure having you here today.
I cannot agree more with Antonis.
Sure, guys. Really nice to be here with you guys, and I hope the show goes well. And I would be glad to talk to you again in the future.
Thank
For
you.
sure, for sure.
I think that's our first episode to wrap it up. For all of viewers, thank you for viewing. Please leave a like, subscribe, and see you on the next one.